G'day viewers, this is Troy from Troy's Visual Arts channel. I've just built myself a homemade high voltage probe. This high voltage probe pretty much is used to read extremely high voltages in excess of the thousands of volts. Basically how it works is I've got a network, I've got a series of 10 meg ohm resistors, which will divide the high voltage by 100, and you get on the multimeter the reading of a voltage reading that's the divisive of 100 of the actual voltage of the high voltage that you're measuring. So say for instance I've got 5,000 volts. I'm reading 5,000 volts for this probe. I'll be getting 50 volts instead of 5,000 volts. I've also made it. I've also added another 10 meg ohm resistors, and I've added a switch here so I can divide the voltage reading by 200 volts. So if I'm reading extremely high voltages in the tens of thousands of volts, I can get the reading divided by 200. So say for instance I'm reading 20,000 volts on the multimeter, it'll come up as 100 volts instead of 200 volts if I had it set to divide by 100. Anyway, so yes, as a home brew, I've inside is 10 meg ohm resistors in series, and I've got here at the back a switch which will switch between reading of division of 100 or 200. So basically I've got a wire shunt to short out 10 of the resistors if I want to divide by 100 only, and I'll switch off if I want to divide by 200. And here's the probe at the end, which is pretty much a probe from the multimeter. I just cut the probe off and I use the other end to stick in the multimeter. And this is pretty much just some old PVC piping. Anyway, I'll demonstrate it in operation. So here I've got a basic rough high voltage DC supply. So I've got 240 volts going through a single 1N407 diode and a 47 microfarad 450 volt capacitor, and I'm getting and when I put the multimeter on, I'm getting a voltage swinging between about 340 and 355 volts. Now I'm going to unplug the probe and plug in the high tension probe, high voltage probe, and I'm going to set it down to 20 volts, and I should get 3.4 to 3.55 volts from the high voltage probe. So I'll just put it on here. I'm getting about 340 to 3.4 to 3.5 volts. So it's reading quite accurately. And I'm going to set it to divide by 200, and I should get about 1.7 to 1.78 volts. Yeah, I'm getting pretty much close to that, so it is quite accurate. So there you have it, homebrew high voltage probe, and I'm going to be using this for my cathode ray tube experiments. So when I'm making cathode ray tube type projects and and other projects involving extremely high voltages, I'll be using my homebrew probe to read the voltages. Anyway, time to switch this high voltage circuit off. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Troy from Troy's Digital Arts channel, signing out.